Hi friends, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hi, I'm Lena of Love Me and Crochet, and welcome to Fiction and Fibers, a place where we get cozy and we crochet and we discuss the latest book I read. So with that being said, today I am working on this piece. It is a bottle sleeve, basically a bottle holder that I have been working on and eventually turned into a whip. So I thought, why not pull it out today and start on it. I am using a 5mm hook while I use the Red Heart Granny Square yarn in the color Soft White Amethyst. Yeah, Soft White Amethyst in Blanc Dukes. I think that's the name. I'm just reading what it says here. But anyway, I like the colors in here. It's fun, it's cute, it's giving stripes. So I was like, let's make a bottle holder. I bought a couple of those, but I don't really use them for the granny square purposes. I just feel like it wasn't for me. So with that, today we are reviewing The Courting of Bristol Keats by Mary E. Pearson. This was a book that so many people in my personal life recommended to me, so I went ahead and picked it up. So with that being said, grab your yarn, grab your hook, get cozy, get ready, and you know, like I always say, if you're ready like I'm ready, let's dive in. Alright, so The Courting of Bristol Keats. What is it about? With this, I feel like for me it's a little bit difficult to explain, but I'm gonna do it the best I can without giving too many spoilers. So the premise is we are following a girl named Bristol Keats. She lives in our human world and she has two sisters, and she basically takes care of both of them after the passing of both of her parents. She went from like living on her own to coming back home. Her mom died from one reason, and then her dad died later on, and so she is sitting there raising her sisters, helping them, taking care of them, keeping them afloat. She works hard and she sells the art that her father made in order to help get her sisters more money so that they can live. So they're doing their thing, they're living their life, and they are met. Someone basically comes up to them, asking them to meet a person, saying that they are related to their father. Well, Bristol is confused because she's like, girl, ain't no way this is true because my dad doesn't have any relatives that are living, especially due to the fact that he's an orphan. But desperate times come from desperate measures. They offer money and she meets with them because, well, her family need money. They need to survive, and so she has to do what she has to do. But it came with a stipulation. They need her for a task. And so with that, she has to leave her sisters. But like I said before, desperate time comes for desperate measures, and so she agrees. She tells her sisters about it because she sees something unique. She sees a world of monsters in this process of meeting said people. And with that, she, of course, goes home to her sisters. One sister was like, girl, what are you even talking about? The other sister was like, I heard this before. I actually know what you're talking about. Matter of fact, there are people that write about this. Here's the book. So sister number 2 legit like give her the rundown of this world, which is fairy world. Y'all know I love me a good romanticy, so we're here with a romanticy. Fairy world, woo woo woo. This book kind of like follows the traditional tales of the fairy world. And so her sister gives her the rundown. Sister like, look, I ain't got time for all this information. So she grabs a few papers, she grabs some food, she like, I'm out. So Bristol goes to fairy world. She meets a guy named Tigan, who is very important. He's basically the male lead of the story, and we are basically taking on the journey of their love story, but she is also there for this task, which they chose her because she had great navigation. Now, she learns so many new things about her father while she's there, but she also learns something very important about herself, and it changes the way she analyzes / views the world, but it also changes the way she views her parents. Because with her parents, she experienced so many things. Like, she experienced a lot going on because, well, they never settled. They were always running from something, and she never knew what it was. And when she goes into this land, she learns what they were running from, why they were running from him, what happened, where her parents are, where they went, why they left, did they die, did they not die. It's like so many like little crazy little terms that you're like, what is even going on? Like, you know? So that is pretty much the summary. It is very intriguing how she falls in love with Tigan. Their love story is very intriguing. How she finds out about her parents, what she does to find them. Because in her brain, one other thing about the summary, her father's not dead. So the reason why she went to world is because she's looking for her father. She don't think her father is dead. And we get to find out whether her father is dead or not. So she wants to save her sisters. She wants to make sure they are well fed, but she also wants to see, is her father alive? Because someone told her that he is. This story is basically that whole dream. There's a lot going on in here. Lots of tea, lots of twists, lots of turns, but lots about this world. So with that, let's get into my review of the book. Alright, so my review of the book. I tried to give a summary without a lot of details, but this book has so much going on in its world building and the way it operates and what, why, when that happens. It can be a little difficult because this isn't a quick, fast read, right? This is a read where you have to understand the world building, you have to get the tea, and you have to put the pieces together as you go. And so that is why I was able to basically get through the book, read the book, analyze things that I found wild. The characters were very, I want to say like abnormal, but their reactions to things and how they were built up was something that I just wasn't expecting. Like the way Tigan fell in love with Bristol, I was just like, how did it happen? Like, I'm confused on how we got here. Like, that is the feeling I had as I was analyzing the love story. It was basically, let's just say love at first sight pretty much. But typically I'm used to like actually comprehending how they got there. Like what happened. Oh, I saw her eyes, I saw her lips, da da da. Like I'm pretty sure that happened. But I guess while I was reading, I was still confused because it was so much tension going on all the time that like when it hit to love, I was just like, where was the transition? Like it went from tension to love. Where was the in between? And I felt like I got lost in trying to find the in between on how we went from here to here. Like we were just like hot then cold and hot. You know, I didn't get no warmth in the middle. And I just was like a little like, okay. We felt the energy. I knew that when we met Tigan, that Tigan was going to be the love interest. I knew that. But I was like, where? And the shocking part about Tygan being the love interest was the connection to the father. The connection to the father was what got me, because I was like, look, think about this. Think about who she is, and you're falling in love with her. Now look, this is fairy world. Fairy world isn't human world. I get that, but it's just boundaries sometimes. Like, ain't no way. There is no way that you know who her daddy is, and you was like, I don't care, I love her anyway. When y'all find out, if you haven't read the book already, when you find out who her daddy is to him, and then you're like, they're in love, you're like, nah, I'm the daddy, we throwing hands on sight. Ain't no way. But I understand that so much happened. And the big thing about this book is that fairy world timeline is completely different than human world timeline. Let's say it like this. Human world timeline goes way faster than fairy world timeline. So what is 10 years for us is probably like a month for them. Like, that's pretty much what it is. I just was very shocked. Another thing that got me was, like I mentioned before, the timelines, okay? In the book, it ain't adding up. I might just not be comprehending, okay? So if you understand and you got it and you sitting here like, yeah, no, it's because of this, you just not paying attention, let me know down in the comments. I will read them and I'll be like, okay, my bad, that's on me. But the timeline's not timelining during the story, because like, and it probably was mentioned, I fear like I'm yapping and I missed the part, like maybe I just like skipped over it. But basically, like I said before, it'll be like 10 years in the real world, quote unquote, but then it'll be like a month in fairy world. Well, she can talk to her sisters through a portal, okay? That is like a spoiler. She could talk to her sisters through a portal that she found, right? The only thing is, her sisters ain't got older, or I just didn't catch it. But days, weeks have passed, and her sister's the same age. But the timelines are different in their worlds. And there's a specific piece that she needs in order to return to the exact time that she left, which will help her still be with her family. But what gets me is, when she talked to them, she's not using the piece that they said she needed. So it's like, why is no time really passed if the times are different and no piece was used? But then again, another thing that confuses me, which is, talking about it right now making me like, I need to go read the book again so I can comprehend, because I'm gonna read the next book from this series, and I need to make sure that I comprehend all the properties of this world before I move on. But if she needs the piece to go back to the times, like so she could be in the same timeline as when she left, then that is probably why her sisters are at the same age when she talks to them. But then again, I'm like still confused, because I'm like, okay, well, does time not move until they go back? I don't know, because the item will take her back to where she left off. Like, yeah, the sisters would know she was gone, but they won't be like 80 years old. They'll be like the same age they were when she left. But if she don't have the item, then by the time she go back, so much time has passed, and then they might be way older, you know? So like, I don't understand the correlation, because when she talks to them through the portal without that item, they're the same age. I just don't think it's making sense to me personally. And it really makes me think about the timelines in the universes that she will be encountering. Because in my thought process, it's like, okay, well, when she go back, is the world frozen until she chooses to go back, and then whichever item she used determines where she's at in life when she go back? I feel like I'm the problem here, but that's where I was confused at. I feel like I missed that part. The other thing is, we found out that she got some unique abilities, okay? Although she is so-called normal. She got the same parents as her siblings, right? Her and her siblings got the same parents. So then there's like questions where I'm like, so are the sisters included in this new discovery? You know what I mean? That's a small spoiler, but it's like, you gotta know the context, you know what I mean? Like, there's no context I'm giving here, but like, I'm like, y'all got the same mom and daddy, so are the sisters included, or are they not? Did he just skip them and you just the only unique one? So that was another question. So basically, there's a lot of questions I'm left with. And the ending of this book, well, it makes you have to read the next book. You legit don't have a choice but to read the next book with the ending. So you're gonna be left with questions regardless of whether you're happy or you're not. The book left me with a lot of questions. So Tigan, the male lead in this book, very interesting character. Basically not my type. I just couldn't. For me, he just does a lot that is annoying, personally. My reasoning isn't reasoning right now, but just know that while I was reading, the feeling I got was the ick. And I was just like, no. Honestly, Tigan probably is a book boyfriend to many. He's just not a book boyfriend for me. And so with that, I just am gonna leave that. Now, I am going to share one of the craziest parts that got me in this book, that had me with like the feeling of, that's weird. So there's a part where Tigan has an ability to where he can be in the shadows, right? He thrives in the shadows. He's a shadow guy. Okay, cool. We know that. But he does this thing, even though they supposed to like be annoyed with each other or whatever. She's dancing at these balls, right? And he dances with her from the shadows. Some people can think that's cute. Oh my gosh, that's so adorable. He's shy. La 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 la. But that to me is creepy. Because at this point, when this is happening, I don't know if she like him yet. And like, of course I know that he's gonna be the lead in the book, so eventually he like her, but I couldn't tell where we was going. And he was dancing with her from the shadows, and she just like moving around, and she's feeling his presence, holding her and dancing with her. And she got an inkling, but she not for sure, so she thinks she's going crazy. And I'm just like, what type of, like, imagine if she didn't like him. Like, imagine if she was like, I really can't stand this guy, and he's just dancing with her from the shadows. That's creepy. I don't care. That is creepy. I would be disgusted if a man was sitting here dancing with me, touching me on my waist without consent. That is just not my cup of tea. What do you mean you're dancing with me from the shadows? No permission granted? No, ma'am. And he didn't want nobody to know either. But she knew. She figured it out. But the way he treated her after he was doing all of that, you're weird. He's weird. He's weird. He was treating her so rude, but he dancing with her from the shadows. You're weird. I don't know what you're trying to keep up, but like, you couldn't even have the wherewithal or even just the strength, the confidence to come up to me and ask for a dance. So you'd rather be creepy, dance with me from the shadows where I can feel you, and then give me attitude after you just did that creepy old mess. Absolutely not. Absolutely. Me? Mm-mm. Other people probably, oh my gosh, that's so cute. Look, we all have our preferences in this world, and that's just not mine. So with that, after all the questions that I had left over, after the weirdness that tie-in was on, and after that crazy old ending, because the ending like that is forcing me to read the second book, because now I need to be like, okay, what happened after that? Because it was just so abrupt that I'm just like, okay, you know? Now, with the type of ending that it was, I know I'm trying to end this review, but this book ruffled my feathers, as you can see. With the type of ending that the book had, it could have either left me with, I don't care, and put this book down, or what it ended up leaving me with was, I'm lost and confused and I need to read the next book so I can get some closure here, because that was a lot going on. That was a lot happening. We made progress, but we didn't make any progress, and I need to get to the progress of this book. So yeah, so I gotta read the next book so I can figure it out. I need my questions answered. I need my questions answered today, and I'm gonna read the book, and I heard that it should come out sometime in 2025, maybe 2026, I don't know, but I just know I got the notification on for when it should come out, and I will be reading the next book, and you probably will be getting a review from me on that. So let's move on. So what star rating did I give the book? What are my final impressions? Pretty much final impressions, lots of questions, kind of weird. I need the next book. Star rating, I gave it like a 5.56 out of 10. And I just gave y'all all the reasons why I gave it that rating, because clearly it just was something. And it's not the most outrageous book I ever read, I will say. It's not too weird, okay? It had some good world building. I need to know what's going on with the sisters and everybody else, okay? The things we learn about the mom, interesting. The things we learn about the dad, interesting. The things we learn about the world in general, interesting. So it wasn't that it wasn't a good book. So that's why I'm like 5.56. It was just so many things just threw me off that I couldn't give it like a 10 out of 10, right? The way that it was written was fine. It just was just quite interesting. And I fear that I'm gonna get so many different opinions, and that's okay, because the thing about book club and the thing about reviews and the thing about chatting and have a good time is that differences are welcome. And I like a good difference, because what happens with differences is I learned something. I missed something in this book. Maybe I wasn't focused. Maybe I zoned out for a second and I came back in at the wrong time and now I'm lost, you know? So you explain to me why you feel and think what you feel, and I can respect that with the utmost heart and be like, you know what, you're right. You are so right. Oh, I didn't think about that perspective. Or, oh, yeah, that makes sense. I did miss that, you know? And that is what book reviews and discussions and book club and fiction and fibers is all about. So with that, 5.56 is my rating. All right, so with that, this is the end of my book review of The Courting of Bristol Keats by Mary E. Pearson. What a journey, what a review. Sorry about the length. I just had so many thoughts, so many things that I felt when reading this book, and I'm really glad that I got the opportunity to share that with you, and I'm super excited to see what you have to say. So let me know if you read this one or if you have any book recommendations that I should check out while I crochet next. And if you enjoyed this cozy little combo, please consider liking, subscribing, and clicking that notification bell so that you can get notified the next time that I post. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next Fiction and Fibers.